I'm Sophia, and this is the ultimate podcast for celebrating all things wonderful about our beautiful island. Welcome to Destination Cyprus.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Destination Cyprus, a podcast that's dedicated to celebrating all things wonderful about our beautiful island. It's May, and every year in May we get free admission to a world few of us were fortunate enough to have contact with when we were growing up in Cyprus. It's the month of the Limassol Boat Show, and the Limassol Boat Show is now an event of an international scale, and it exhibits everything from super yachts, motor yachts, sailing boats to yacht brokers, accessories, equipment, diving, the lot. And of course it happens at our much loved award-winning super yacht destination, Limassol Marina. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to speak to somebody who's been pivotal to the success of the marina and to the smooth running of this dazzling event. Tom Lord, welcome.
Thank you very much.
I love a good story, and yours is a good story. And that's because I can recall the whole employment history behind how you joined the Limassol Marina team and your dedication and your determination to be part of this amazing journey. So if you'll just give me some time to talk through your biography, because it's quite an interesting transition that you made over to Cyprus.
Okay, be gentle.
I'll try. So your story starts in Chichester. Did I say that right?
That's right. Yep.
Chichester, which is on the south coast of England. So obviously you grew up with a proximity to the sea, and you moved up to the University of Manchester to do your degree in management and leisure. And then you did research consulting and lots of roles in facilities management, development, recreation, in Bath and in Chichester. And then you were part of the team behind the campaign and the preparation for the 2012 Olympics. And you also played semi-professional beach volleyball.
That's it.
So the beach has always been in your life. And from that, and you will fill the gaps, but from all of that, you ended up in Limassol, obviously the center of the universe, at Limassol Marina. And the thing that I love about that big sort of leap is that you actually didn't have any specific yachting experience, but I remember seeing your cover letter and your CV, and it was incredibly impressive. You had set this target. You wanted to be part of Limassol Marina, and one of the shareholders, Frangudi and Stefan Marinas, who are obviously responsible for all the operations at the marina, gave you the role of the marina supervisor. Then you became the assistant marina manager, and lo and behold, after 10 years, you're now the marina manager. So it's a beautiful story. And if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about your passion for sports, how that all evolved, and then what brought you to Limassol?
Yeah, so absolutely. Thank you for that introduction and reminder of actually where we started. But yes, I've always been very active and always been a sportsman. So growing up on the south coast there, I was involved in every sport going. And on the sailing side, let's say I was always involved in the local sailing clubs. We had our own boats when we were growing up. We used to drag down to the harbour and take out in all the picturesque little creeks, and so very nice to grow up down there. And then through my schooling, through going to university, I was then getting involved in volleyball at a sort of higher and higher level in terms of the UK and sort of national level in the UK, if you like. And that was when it was announced that London was awarded the Olympics. So suddenly all of us that had the opportunity, or that were playing at that sort of level, had the opportunity to turn professional and try to prepare for the games. So because sport was in my blood, I was involved in helping to run one of the major facilities that was preparing the national governing bodies for the Olympics. So we were hosting training camps. We actually hosted the Paralympics GB team at the University of Bath, at the big sports training village there, which I was part of the team that wrote the bid and and we managed to host them there before the games to help them prepare, which was a phenomenal experience. But yeah, so I got used to then following the sun around the world, playing on the world tour for GB beach volleyball. Was part of the setup there at the Olympics, and then throughout that experience, at some stage while I was at university, I met my lovely wife.
You fell in love.
Absolutely.
That's it. There it is. That's what brought you to Limassol.
And so born and raised here in Cyprus. Family out here, so of course we were spending a lot of time coming to Cyprus. Every summer we were visiting, so I became aware of sort of what was going on, and became aware of the strategy that was being developed for marinas, which sort of sparked my interest. I'd always wanted to get into the industry, but hadn't really found which was the right way in, and sort of at what level to join. So this opportunity I became aware of. It was actually while it was still all under construction, so long before the operations were ready. And I was lucky enough to be taken on as the first employee for the operations under the original marina manager. So I was there from the beginning to help, commission phase by phase. I was there for the opening to welcome the first boat into the marina. And the milestones have been rolling in since then.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's like the Limassol Marina was a university for a lot of people. I mean, everybody who was on board from the early days, because it was unprecedented. It was the first time we were doing a project of that scale in Cyprus. And it felt like everybody was coming together to learn together. So I'm sure it was quite a tough ride, though, along the way, especially for the marina side, because I'm sure there were things that didn't exist before a super yacht marina, weren't there?
Yeah, that's right. No, the first super yacht marina in Cyprus, so huge implications for sort of advancing the industry. But that's one of the things that really struck me, is that it wasn't just a new facility that was opening. It was this huge undertaking for the whole country, and everybody, all the stakeholders, whether it was us that were in the team, sort of the professionals that were getting things ready and starting to open, but working with the authorities and trying to set out the way in which we would be handling super yachts and all these sorts of things. The feeling has been of this real pride and collective responsibility to try and make it work and develop the industry, which has been a fantastic thing to be a part of and to contribute to.
And there are more marinas in the planning, aren't there? Which I'm sure is something that everybody wants. How is the team responding to all these joint efforts now? There's an association as well?
That's right, yeah. So obviously we're the first marina that came along of this sort of national strategy to develop nautical tourism. So the first one to get operating, but several more that are in the pipeline. Ayia Napa Marina obviously is now operating, and Paralimni Marina under construction. Larnaca Marina now starting to make the changes, so it's developing fast, and we have formed this association in order to try and bring all of these facilities together and contribute to the development of the industry as a whole. The way that we see it is that it's a huge positive, to get out there and try and establish Cyprus as a new super yacht destination as one facility is impossible.
Yeah.
But to have several other world-class facilities that are coming along and teaming up in order to really promote the destination is helping to establish Cyprus and really show that it has something to offer the industry.
And it's not just, it's high caliber tourism as well, isn't it? Because when these yachts come in, they come with a crew of how many people?
Oh, yeah, it's astonishing. Some of the biggest boats that we've had may have had crew of up to 70 people on board.
And they might live off Limassol in the marina for how long?
Yeah,
on average,
an average stay of a super yacht passing through in transit would be up to a month. So you can imagine the sort of spending in the local economy that a boat like that will provide. Let alone all of those staff, all of those professionals that are travelling with the boat, that all have high disposable incomes, and are well travelled and looking to get out there and find out what the country they're visiting can offer. So it's been exciting, and we've almost been tour guides to all of these guys that are arriving, discovering Cyprus for the first time. And that's what's been quite exciting as well, is that we've always got this opportunity to make a first impression. And that's something that the team that I work with has been really passionate about, and it's been incredible to see. It's one of the things that makes me most proud of what we've done is the passion behind all of the staff that are there face to face with the customers, that really want to show that Cyprus can offer something special, and they want to welcome people provide that famous Cypriot hospitality.
Philoxenia.
Absolutely. And we try to make sure that all of these boats that visit Cyprus go away feeling like they've really found something special here and want to come back and obviously shout about it when they get out there and tell the rest of the industry.
Well, that was going to be my next question. So what is the general impression? Because you're there firsthand, you're talking to owners, captains, crew, and of course, because this is not just obviously super yachts. Limassol Marina can accommodate up to 650 yachts from something like 8 meters to, is it 110 or even
That's
more
right.
now?
Yeah,
up to 110 meters. And then you've also got the smaller marinas. I mean, the St. Raphael Marina's been up and running for years. There's a whole world of industry that is not just one market or one target group, because your 8-meter owner is completely different to the 100-meter owner. So what's the overall impression you get from the feedback you're given, whether it's from owner level or, down to the crew?
Yeah.
What do they think of Cyprus?
Well, I mean, one thing that's important to remember is, as you said, St. Raphael was the first private marina in Cyprus and was operating since the late 80s. Has more or less been full ever since, and that more or less represented the sort of private yacht ownership market in Limassol. And then this big new marina came along and opened with all this additional space. And although we've been filling up over the years, to the point that we are now, where we're approaching 90% occupancy across the marina, St. Raphael Marina has remained full the entire time. So Limassol Marina has added this capacity, and it's led to an expansion in the industry. So there's an awful lot more boat owners that are now based here and obviously enjoying the coastline and contributing in that respect. But the impression that and the feedback that we get, it's something that I make sure that we're always getting feedback from all the different levels of customers. We're talking to them regularly, finding out, what they think and how we can improve our service and all these sorts of things. But the feedback's overwhelmingly positive. They can really see that the marina and what's been built, this sort of integrated, all-encompassing destination is something that's really unique, something that's very special. The way that it integrates into the town is something that's very important to all of those customers, whether it's crew or owners or anybody else. They want to feel like they're in the center of something exciting. So having that right on our doorstep, and the marina being very much sort of part of the architecture and being integrated, that really comes across.
Yeah.
But I have to say, that the most overwhelmingly positive feedback that we get is about the people behind it, and the people that they interact with, whether that's us on the marina operations side, the F&S Marinas team that are hands-on with the customers, supporting them from the technical perspective, or through our concierge service and the marina reception that are dealing with them every day. But also, the events team, the marketing team, everybody that they are interacting with, they really feel like people are going above and beyond to try and make friends, to try and give a personal service, and that's what comes across, and that's what everybody really remembers when they stay with us.
So it's a 5-star facility, isn't it? It's like a resort, and I mean that's one of the fabulous things is that everything's under the one central reception as well, which is amazing for us as well. When I know that the owners across the whole project, whether they're in a boat or an apartment, or whether they're renting a villa or using a commercial facility, a restaurant, a shop, a spa, it's just great that it all feels like one uniform resort.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the sort of the day-to-day running, because I assume now that the team has grown.
Absolutely.
Since we were last around. I mean, it's the marina is at, you said 90% capacity now.
Almost, yeah.
And so if you can tell us just a little bit about the daily operations, and then maybe an understanding of the nationality, the target markets, and how you strategically bring the berthing customers and the owners.
Yeah, absolutely. So across the operation, we're working very hard to make sure that we're implementing sort of best practice across marina operations. So we run a very consistent operation, and our management system is based around several sort of key pillars for delivery of marina operations. And that's something that it comes across, and it's important for our customers to see, because they understand that they're dealing with professionals and they're being well looked after. So the way in which we sort of build our daily routine, if you like, is around managing these aspects. So that includes environmental management. It's something that's close to our hearts and always has been. The marina was awarded its first blue flag in 2016, I think. We've been part of the scheme since then, and trying to continue to innovate and establish best practice for running a marina of this sort of size, where we cover the whole spectrum of the industry. And we work with various different local groups and associations in order to try to communicate and build awareness. Last year, we became one of the first European marinas to join the Clean International Marinas scheme, which is a new scheme that sits alongside the Gold Anchor scheme that we're a part of.
Yeah.
So this is almost like a hotel style accreditation. You have 5 stars for hotels. Marinas, you have gold anchors. So we're a 5 gold anchor marina, which essentially means that we've been audited, and we're audited almost on a constant basis for standards across the board. And that's been upgraded to platinum level, which means that we are at the highest possible level of accreditation. I believe there's still only 8 marinas in the Northern Hemisphere that have achieved that level of certification.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to show that, so that we can, again, establish what we're doing. And Cyprus, Limassol Marina, we're establishing this yachting hub over here in the East Med, and we want to show that we are competing at the top level across the Mediterranean. So all of our team are dedicated to following that sort of path, so they're out there managing the facility, serving the customers, making sure that all aspects of our management on site is being done at that level and to those standards. And they take a real pride in doing that, which is great to see.
It's obviously such a long way from where this all started, isn't it? I mean, to think that when was it? 2014, probably. When did the gates first open? It was 2014.
Mid 2014.
The first time the people were allowed in beyond the staff. It was just mind blowing, wasn't it? 'Cause it was just construction site for so long, and then all of a sudden the general public was allowed in. The gates were up, and it was like, no mistakes now. There's no turning back.
I remember we did a soft opening. So the first time that we opened the gates, we hadn't told anybody. It was almost ready. It was getting there, and the commercial restaurants were all preparing their staff and wanted to be ready for the grand opening that was coming up a few weeks later. So we had this soft opening where one morning we just opened the gates, and the anticipation around Limassol was so huge that I think we had something like 25,000 people through the gates that first weekend. And it was, you couldn't move along the promenades. Everyone was so excited to see what had been built. The fences had been up for years. Everyone knew there's this huge new project that was coming. So it was so
support,
exciting,
though, wasn't there? It was very, very a lot of support from the local community because of the way it was handled, I suppose, and because of the shareholders all being locals, Cyprus and Greece. And that brings me to the boat show, obviously, because it makes my hair stand on end. I get so emotional when I walk through the project during the Limassol Boat Show, because back in the early days when we were trying to establish this industry, to go to the Monaco Yacht Show, the Dubai Boat Show, all of these other countries, and just the fact that has successfully now been replicated in Cyprus, and not only replicated, but actually because of the design of Limassol Marina, it's been able to enhance an offering that maybe other structures couldn't. So I want to talk a little bit about the history of the Limassol Boat Show. I know that Aristidou from Dakar Advertising, I can remember he was integral to bringing the concept to Limassol Marina, I think in 2015, even though he'd been doing smaller boat shows from 2008 with the Limassol municipality. So again, another lovely story, because drive and determination, someone with a vision, I want to do this, and I think if we collaborate with a team like Limassol Marina, we can do something amazing. So because it is now something amazing, I was just flicking through the Limassol Marina magazine. I can't believe that the photos of how this event has evolved. Tell us a little bit about where it was, where it is now, and what people can expect this weekend when they come to the marina?
Yeah, absolutely. So another exciting journey, and it's sort of been a nice parallel for sort of seeing how the yachting industry is expanding in Cyprus, in Limassol in particular, and the way in which we've been getting Limassol, on the international stage, getting Limassol Marina and Cyprus as a yachting destination on the international stage. So, yeah, we first collaborated as co-organisers of this new concept back in 2015, as you mentioned. There had previously been a fishing exhibition for the small local boats and local suppliers and things that was done inland as a sort of an exhibition for the industry. And with the marina then operating, it was a great opportunity to then start to turn that into a boat show concept. And really, we've grown that year on year along with the industry around it, which has been a great thing to see as well. So not only have the numbers of exhibitors, numbers of boats, the sizes of boats has grown year on year on year, but also, the events that we are hosting, that the actual footprint of the exhibition is now vastly bigger than it was when we started. We've got a superyacht conference being hosted this year for the first time, so a new concept that we're developing. And again, it's really demonstrating the interest that the international industry has about what Cyprus can offer. That's different to the traditional milk run, as they call it over in the West Med. So we can use Cyprus's location to our advantage in terms of drawing in all of these different parts of the industry to meet in the middle. Interest and sort of management companies, owners' representatives, these sorts of things from the Middle East, from the region surrounding us, and then from continental Europe as well. And it's a convenient place for everybody to meet in the middle, to obviously engage with the community here in terms of the brokers and what they're offering, but also to then start to look at how the industry can interact. And that's why we've put this conference together, which is looking very, very popular. So we'll continue to work on this concept, but it's been a fantastic event to be a part of. It's I think contributed to the growth of the local industry, which has been great. Some of the companies we've been working with for a decade now started out with small stands and a couple of boats, and they've now got huge constructions, and they're representing lots of these international brands, and they've got huge boats under their management. And it's great to see that we've been able to be a part of that journey that's contributed to the whole industry expanding.
And do you think, I would assume there are now locals showing an interest in working in the industry, which must be amazing, because when I was a child, I can't imagine that there were a lot of people who ever thought, oh, you know what, maybe I'd like to. There's all these job opportunities now that we didn't have before. So are you seeing an influx of locals wanting to work at the marina or in the operations department?
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, the team's grown substantially over the years in line with the size of the business, and the marina as it fills up. So it's a point of pride for all of us, actually, that we've been able to bring in new staff into the industry for the first time. Lots of locals that have taken an interest have found a way to join the industry, and then have gone on to take on other roles and grow within the industry in lots of other roles. With lots of these boats being based here, inevitably there's great opportunities for people to join boats as crew as well, which is growing all the time. And a great way for young people to get out there and learn a new trade and see the world and join this exciting industry. The marina team itself, absolutely. We started with just a couple of us that were getting the operation ready and commissioning each bit phase by phase, and now we've got almost 25 people in the marina operations team at FNS.
I was not expecting that. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's expanding in parallel to the size of the marina and the size of the yachts and the number of the yachts that are visiting us. We're just approaching a nice milestone, which is 10,000 boats having visited the marina since we started operation.
Wow.
So some incredible numbers that we're now seeing as milestones of this project. So to have new faces, new blood coming in and learning this industry and finding their way within the industry is something that I think everybody that's involved in the project or has been involved in the project has been proud of as well.
And are there any milestones to look forward to? Anything else on the cards?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, next
Tell
year
us
is
more.
the official 10 years since the opening.
Oh my God, 2024.
So lots to celebrate
Wow.
in that respect, which I don't think anybody can quite believe that it's 10 years since we first cut the ribbon and opened the gates
Full
officially.
circle, though, as well, because the last apartments were delivered. Well, and I would assume will be sold out by then, because there's only 95% of the properties have been sold.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're looking at the whole circle beautifully tied in a ribbon.
Yeah.
Wow,
No,
after
indeed.
10 years. And you've been there for 10 years now, since the beginning.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So tell us about Tom then. What has kept you in Cyprus other than this amazing project? Obviously, I mean, I'd love to hear your take on life on the island. I know that you're probably at the marina most of the time.
Yeah, inevitably.
But tell us a little bit more about your adventures. What keeps you here as a family?
It's one of those things, that I love to discuss with clients, with captains, with people that are coming in. It's often one of those things to sit down and over a coffee discuss what Cyprus is all about. And it almost reminds me of why it's so fantastic to be based here. And it's one of those places that if you take advantage of what's around you, actually, I don't think there's anywhere that can beat it.
Bravo, Tom.
As as an active guy, and now with an active family, 2 young boys. We don't spend much time in the house, so we're either up in the mountains or we're taking advantage of the coastline and the water. There's so much to do and so much to get on with here that you can never be bored if you take advantage.
You've been converted. You're a Gibreos.
Well practiced at the...
But you still don't speak Cypriot, though.
Well, yeah, one of those challenges is doing lessons in Greek and then hearing everybody speak Cypriot.
You can have lessons with your sons, can't you?
Well, that's my level these days, exactly. Bedtime stories for a 6-year-old.
Oh, bless. So what else are you doing? I mean, you're still playing volleyball?
Unfortunately not. No, it's I'm enjoying retirement, let's say. But no, since starting the family and then taking on more and more at the marina, it's been a bit difficult to continue. When I first came out, I did join one of the local semi-professional teams and played for a few years, which was great fun.
Then you became the marina manager.
Yes, time limited, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. So I think we've touched on it briefly anyway, but if I had to ask you for your predictions, if you were to tell me where you think the industry will steer in the next sort of 5 years, I mean, where do you see things going with all the new marinas now and the feedback that you're getting? Yeah,
well, I think actually that the future is very bright for the industry here. It's an exciting time because of what is happening organically in the industry anyway. So the timing is perfect to have these new facilities, which are hard to come by across the whole Mediterranean. The international yachting fleet is growing all the time. The size of the boats is growing all the time, and therefore available space is scarce across the Mediterranean, which is still by far and away the biggest cruising ground. But there's a lot of development and a lot of interest in what's happening down in the Red Sea at the moment. There's new destinations that are being created down there. Generally, there's a lot of movement of the super yacht fleet in particular down to the Middle East. A lot of charters going on down there, more and more sort of headline sports events that are attracting boats. We just had the World Cup, obviously, and we saw a lot of boats that passed through and visited us on their way down, spent their time down there with owners, with guests, with charter guests, what have you, and then stopped again on the way back. And that perfectly demonstrates what Cyprus can do for this industry. Being based way over here in the East Med, at the top of the Suez Canal, it offers something that's quite unique. As a European country based over here, it has an awful lot of advantages from a administrative, regulatory point of view, as well as a destination. So all of these boats that are passing through and starting to understand what Cyprus can deliver are now considering that actually this could be a great place to spend their 6, 7, 8, even 9 months over the winter. Because the winter here is like the summer elsewhere in Europe, so it's a fantastic destination to be based. As a result of that, the rest of the industry, let's say the technical side of the industry, is growing very fast around it. So Cyprus then starts to compete on an international level in terms of shipyard facilities, expertise, and basically enabling a boat and facilitating a boat to exist and to function in a destination like this. So as all of that is growing, and like you said, more marina facilities coming along, it only creates Cyprus as a more and more viable yachting destination, which is now well established. When we first went out to the boat shows around the world, I'm sure you'll remember, the first thing you had to do was tell people where Cyprus was and what Cyprus was about, and sort of explain where it sat and how it sat within the industry. Whereas nowadays, more or less the whole industry is aware of what's happening here. Word of mouth is by far the strongest form of marketing in this industry, because if a captain's going to a new destination, the first thing they'll do is call their colleagues and find out, what's it all about and who do I need to talk to and where's the best place to go. So that's why, the feedback is so important. It's why that impression is so important. It's why it's been such a great journey to not only build that feedback from our point of view as the marina operator, but also to encompass the Cyprus authorities and other stakeholders that are all part of that impression, and they're all part of that sort of customer service that any boat that's coming to Cyprus is going to experience. So have all been a vital part of that puzzle to put together to try and make sure that customers of all sizes, when they visit Cyprus, they want to come back and they want to tell people about it. And we're really seeing the effect of that. And that's why we continue to get more visitors. We're completely inundated with requests and bookings at the moment, which is great to see. And it demonstrates that Cyprus and Limassol in particular are becoming more and more and more desirable from the industry point of view.
Well, and also you have to have a decent product offering for these people when they do come. I mean, it's not just the case of, we've got an amazing marina, come and you'll be happy. It's the whole infrastructure, it's everything else. And when the public and the private sector come together and they work jointly, I mean, to think that now, if you come to Limassol Marina, you also, apart from a network of marinas that are in the making, you've also got championship golf courses all over the island. You've got wineries, you've got the villages, the mountains. There's so much for them in the vicinity that it is a case of, coming together to promote the island as a whole. And actually, that was the point of this podcast, that we want to talk to people from various sectors, because we feel that Cyprus has such a wonderful package. And I'll never forget my trip to, Porto Montenegro, Tivat, and it was in November, and I walked through the marina, which of course is a beautiful marina. They've done an amazing job with that, and it's such a stunning location. But to say I wanted to poke my eye out in November would probably be extreme, but it was very, very quiet. It was very quiet, and the weather wasn't good. And then, of course, you come to Cyprus, and it's so vibrant, and they've got so many options, don't they? They've got the options of Limassol, they can go further afield, and then they've got all the facilities within the marina itself. You've now opened the Paradox Museum as well, so there's lots to do in the project itself, and events, regattas. Really, I mean, it's
never ending. No, that's it. And as again for the development of the yachting destination, you can't create a destination that people will want to come and spend time visiting if you've only got one or two marinas in one location. So to have several options around the coastline, it's very rare that we'll be competing with each other, because in reality we'll be drawing a lot more traffic to the island in order to travel between everybody, so everybody benefits. And that's really what we're trying to communicate, and we're trying to work together in order to really push the destination in that respect. The great and the real advantage of Limassol Marina, as I said before, is that it's based right in the city centre. So come summer, come winter, you can't really tell the difference. Apart from the temperature, you wouldn't notice. The social life is the same. There's still people out and about, locals, tourists, everybody walking up and down the promenade, the coastline. Everybody's enjoying what the city has to offer. So any international visitor that comes in and or decides to keep their boat in Limassol, some are based abroad, but they decide to keep their boat here with us because they just love coming and spending time in Cyprus. And all of these other elements that are now being added through all of this investment and infrastructure development, as you said, with golf courses, with the casino, of course, that's coming very, very soon. It continues to just add to the product and continue to develop tourism in all of its facets. which benefits everybody, of course.
And on the bigger boats, of course, the crew are all quite adventurous, aren't they? So
Yeah.
they usually, as soon as they arrive, they're out exploring the city because it's what they do, it's what they love.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
So, well, because everything you've said is so positive, Tom, I'm going to have to ask you, if you were given the presidency of the Republic of Cyprus for a day or a week, what's the one thing you would change if you could?
I think what we have seen and in our experience of trying to push the industry on and contributing to the growth of the industry, there's an awful lot of people that are behind it and are contributing. But one of the things that we've really been trying to communicate with the government in particular, who have had this fantastic national strategy to develop all of these world-class facilities around the island. But what really needs to happen is the alignment of regulation, the alignment of responsibility, the alignment of all of the different departments that have a hand to play in the development of yachting. There needs to be a bit more of organisation, of somebody being behind it, taking responsibility and helping the private sector to really push things forward. That's really been one of the frustrations that we have seen. On the ground, the people that we interact with have all been fantastic, and worked very, very well as stakeholders of the local industry. Mm-hmm. But at a higher level, there's an awful lot that needs to be developed in order to be able to accommodate this huge increase in the industry. We've gone from a few hundred boats in Cyprus to what will be many thousands of boats being based in Cyprus within the next few years, and okay, the infrastructure is there, but we've got to make sure that we have everything organised and aligned behind it in order to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody's operating according to a common set of rules, and that we are obviously trying to contribute to this national strategy to attract boats. We have to create a yachting-friendly environment in order to keep bringing them to Cyprus. Yeah,
I mean, I'm inclined to say that's not exclusive to yachting. That's probably a problem that is faced by every sector now.
Yeah,
that we've evolved possibly too quickly, and because we're very open to change, to foreign investment, to all these amazing projects and proposals that come to our tables. It's like we need to be able to provide and catch up, and bureaucracy.
Of course, yeah, and that's part of it. But and really, what that allows us to do is really take advantage of what's in our hands. We have this fantastic opportunity to keep this growth and acceleration and achieve that strategy of developing nautical tourism and upgrading the tourist profile. So these are the parts that need a little bit more work and development in order to really push forward.
Okay, great. Well, I think, with more marinas, that will become easier for you as well. So if you could describe Cyprus and what it means to you in 3 words, what would they be?
In 3 words, that's a difficult one. But, okay, I mean, I'd have to start with family, of course. You can't, I don't think you can live in Cyprus without ending up with a big family around you and obviously helping you to in my case, raise kids and
Amazing,
take advantage of being here, as I said. So family is
tough
obviously
to do
one.
Without Yayam Bapu, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah, that's right. We're not far away from those sort of cliches.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Family is one. Community is another. That's one thing that really hit me as an expat moving over here, is that sense of community. Everybody knows everybody. It only takes about 2 minutes to establish which family knows which family and how people are connected, which is really nice. Actually, it's a great aspect of being here, and it really gives you that sense of belonging and belonging to a community. And obviously, being involved in a project like this almost enhances that, because you're part of this new exciting development that's bringing the community together. So community is a big one. And then, as I said before, the hospitality, that's certainly clear. The number of stories that I have about people that have come to visit us, and the taxi drivers stop to offer them coffee at their mum's house, or stop for lunch, or all these sorts of things are just
great stories.
You can't quite believe them, but everyone's just got this real passion for delivering hospitality and welcoming people, and that really comes across. And it's something that we have worked hard to try and get across through the way in which we manage the marina, the way in which we deliver customer service, is to really make sure that that's felt as well, because it's a great part of being here on the island.
It's the image, it's your unique selling point, isn't it?
That's right.
So tell us then, this weekend, if somebody comes to the boat show, because there is, now the boat show runs along the breakwater as well, doesn't it? Which is usually closed off to the public. What are the opening hours of the boat show? When should they come?
Yeah, so we kick off on Thursday. 5 o'clock on Thursday is the opening and the opening ceremony. So that's when the gates will open, so to speak. Okay. So Thursday evening, 5 until 9. Friday evening the same. So lots going on. And then over the weekend from 12 until 9, both Saturday and Sunday. So it's going to be a really exciting and vibrant event. There's lots of activities that are going on across the whole industry. The dedicated yachting area is available. There's a registration desk to buy the tickets and enter there in order to go and visit the yachts, and some of the other exhibitors that we have based in on the breakwater, as you mentioned. We've done that because the size of the boats and numbers of exhibitors have expanded each year. So we need more space to exhibit. We need more space for everybody to show off their yachts. We've got several,
and their toys.
Plenty absolutely
of toys
important part of it. And then right the way across the marina, all the way along our public promenades, we've got lots of different things on show, from day boats and sports boats to jet skis and ATVs and all parts of the industry, water sports and fishing, and
great.
It's a great sort of culmination of everything.
For the
that
family
is yachting
as well, then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Tom. It's been lovely to talk to you.
Likewise.
And what an amazing decade it's been. And here's to the next one, of course. All the very best with the next milestones for Limassol Marina.
Thank you.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget that you can keep up to date with us on social media and podcast channels. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube so that you can get a notification for the next podcast. And, we'll see you at the Limassol Boat Show.
Destination Cyprus, brought to you by Cybarco.